on my steeple I made with Cletus. Um, so for some background, uh, I started this with Cletus the day of the contest started. Um, he pinged me about it. I think I already had an idea beforehand, and then he pinged me, and then I let him know of my idea, and he kind of understood immediately, and we got to work. The overall like production kind of went back and forth quite a bit. Um, yeah, a lot of like demotivation and whatever because of the copious amounts of you know, delays and stuff, especially when there was not a singular deadline for for like a really long time. That was like the most demotivating part. But yeah, uh, this got first place, um, which is quite surprising. Some people don't think it should have gone first place, but whatever. I'm glad it did. So I wrote the main story. Cletus had some input, but for the most part, I wrote the main story, and I did a like 95% of the gameplay, a bit of the design of the school, um, and the general idea of like the concept and whatever. Um, Cletus he did all the like the engineering, like I said, I proposed to him my idea of the kind of day to night transition type of thing, and he made that. Um, yeah, kind of taking my absurd idea and making it into like reality. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, uh, what else is there to say about it? I don't really know. I mean, it's pretty fun to work on at times. Like it was nice to see my vision come through. But yeah, there'll be more things to talk about as I play through the actual thing. Let me turn on audio while I go in. So this first part is a bit of a glimpse of a story, or like the deeper story that is told throughout the steeple. There is kind of two stories told, which was kind of intentional, kind of not. Yeah, please wake up. That is supposed to be a ghost talking to you. The white text being you. And then we're waking up right here. Now, in terms of, like I was talking about in the story, there's technically two, and I realized way too late that there is a annoying resemblance to FNAF. Yeah, just like five ghosts, and you save them, and then yeah, that was not intentional at all. And I'm really mad at it, honestly, for accidentally making it so similar. But yeah. Now, if you play this in game, this part is changed. Instead of there being a male and female bathroom door, it's just one singular like door where if you go into it, it randomly chooses between male and female. Because I mean, it was a really stupid, like pointless change. Because there was a thing in this version where if you go into, let's say you went into the female door, all of the male doors would be locked. It's a cool little detail, but like it wasn't necessary, so I just asked them to remove it. So yeah, what else is there to talk about before I go in? I don't know. I mean, yeah, you'll see more stuff, but yeah. So you go in, right, and you're sitting on a toilet for whatever reason. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Don't ask why you're floating. I don't know. Walk out. It's very. I also, yeah, these guys coming through. These were made by Cletus. They're like these walking NPCs. They're really, really cool. They're really freaking cool. They're like literal like walking NPC. But yeah, they're really cool. The idea behind you like waking up in this bathroom and being like blinded by this bright lighting was intentional. I kind of wanted it to feel like a real like bathroom, um, that would look like that would look in. What am I trying to say? I don't know. How it would look in the school, like kind of clinical. Weirdly enough, I don't really know. I love how this just shows the skybox. It's kind of funny. But I do want to say the frame before I really go into this. The frame. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but like a small amount of people have said that the frame is kind of ugly. What I did to like conceptualize the idea of the frame was search up school on Google Images and just copy like some design aspects, and like coloring aspects, like this main color that you see, this like kind of bright beige-ish. I don't really know what it is, but yeah, it's like a peachish. Yeah, it's like a peach. That was the main color that we had since the beginning, and kind of like this red right here. You can see that red. I don't know. It felt very. It's like I've seen like this exact red, like color combination before in school. So I kind of wanted to capture that. And the people who have said the atmosphere gives off like a liminal vibe, that was intentional, and I'm glad that people realized that, because that was intentional. I wanted it to kind of have this weird liminal vibe of, something that you've seen before but isn't quite exactly right. And yeah, I'll explore more outside later, but yeah. Also, these doors have this sound effect. It's kind of quiet. Hold on. Yeah. Sometimes it plays at bad times, like when you're not opening the door, because like it's just a sound player in front of the door. Like, yeah, it probably would have been better if we welded it to the doors, but that's whatever. But yeah, the male bathrooms just have urinals. The small details, cringe, so cringe. Okay, now when you walk out here, the lighting changes to be a bit more warmer instead of such a harsh brightness. Yeah, it's just kind of like orange. I made this lighting. I intended it to be very orange, kind of warm, kind of welcoming. Put you off, make you feel kind of off, because something bad will happen, which you will see if you play this Steeple. Then you already know. But yeah, we're not gonna head into math class right now. This is how you continue into like the main actual Steeple content, whatever. But yeah, the main idea behind the building of it, the actual frame, is that we wanted to make it into like an actual, like actual building, like it's formatted like an actual building. The stairways, it is all connected. We were going to have it so that all 5 floors were accessible during the daytime, but it would be so difficult because the way the floor 1 goes from nothing on the floor to a bunch of stuff on the floor, and like the stairs being all broken, and the roof being caved in near the entrance. The entrance being over right here. It's just a giant push box. It's just a big push box. Push box. Yeah. And having to do that for every single floor, especially with all the really complex, stuff that I'll show later. It would have been really, really tough to make. So, yeah, I'll go out here during the nighttime to think the atmosphere fits it better. I'll read out the quote words, which are important to the story. Okay, they are. There's definitely some interpretations to be had. Okay, so anyways, yeah, it works like a real building. These doors obviously don't fit anywhere because that would eat up so much parts if we had every single. That was an idea, to have every single room have some sort of decoration, but no, no. But yeah, you can head outside. It's raining, obviously. A thing that some people complain about is the lack of music. Now there is music. There is music. We didn't really want there to be music like in the daytime. There was in an original idea where we were going to have sound effects play, like birds chirping, creaking, other sound effects that you would hear in real life. But that didn't end up getting made. So yeah, but you still have a nice silence, kind of fits some sort of mood. I don't really know, but these lamps are pretty cool. I don't know. Cletus made them because the lamps that I made beforehand, up before these were made, were like 3 parts each, and there's a lot of them. So it's one part, but this is like some kind of weird beam and constraint thing. Cletus used a lot of constraints. I wish I could go really, really deep into how everything was made, but I don't have that knowledge, and Cletus would be better off telling you that. So whatever, go bug him in tower development. I don't know. But yeah, you can walk around in this forest, this open areas for the boss fight. I kind of wish that we had trees here, and then they would get like removed. That would be kind of cool, but it's whatever. Now throughout the Steeple, obviously, like I said, there is 2 stories. The main one being told through how you normally play through if you don't go and explore anywhere. It's very simple, right? You like I'll show later. You sit down in your class. You fall asleep. The class disappears. They died. Maybe, I don't really know. Yeah, they died, disappeared. Everything is destroyed. The entire place is different. You're in some kind of different reality because realistically, how would the school just spawn this random gameplay? But that was my thought process, at least. It's some kind of purgatory state where you're not exactly dead, but you're on the edge of being dead. It explained why you're not dead or you have the second chance to redeem yourself and go on to the afterlife. I'll get into later, but if you explore enough, you can find a bigger story told. Like for example, wow, look at this awesome transition. Me heading into the forest, telling you all about that, and look at that. It's a freaking a note. It's actually a book page, but so there's 4 book pages throughout the entire Steeple, and other clues to hint at more things. I'll read this one for now because when it gets dark, it's kind of hard to see it or like go in this area because it just gets really dark. But they are all scattered throughout the Steeple. I will show them and have them be read out. But yeah, so this first one. The incident that is talked about will be explained. Now, these book pages tell a narrative. Oops, I hit my desk. Tell a narrative that you kind of have to piece together, because it was written in consecutive order, but the notes were just placed in different spots. So you could find the 3rd page, or you could find the 1st page first, or you could find the 4th page first. It's up to you to make sure that they are in order, or they're telling the story in order. But yeah, this one just I'm actually let me read it again. I kind of forget, even though I wrote them. Oh yeah. The incident is things, like I said, will be, and yeah, that line will be explained as well when I go further into this. Yeah, okay. So this character will be revealed soon. I just have to go back into the school. You see all that stuff loading in. All those curtains, that is one giant part. This is one giant part. Cletus did like insane optimizations to make sure that it's not laggy. Because the actual base part count is like, I think, just above 2,000, and the client object part count is like almost 8,000, I think. So yeah, kind of a crazy ratio. Yeah. So you can go over here. You can talk to the receptionist. I'll let this play out. There's a couple lines of dialogue here that are definitely important. The principal. His books as well. Those are, I'll explain later. Those are, the quote walls are these ones out here. Yeah, that's like the subtle indication that, hey, that you do have something that you gotta do. AKA, go to your actual class. But yeah, if you interact with this, that's the principal's book. You'll learn that he is kind of obsessed with this book. He's kind of obsessed with a lot of different things. In general, just being a regarded? No, that's not the right word. I don't know, he just wants to be known as like a good writer, okay? I can't think of a good word. But, yeah, this is his book. I'll reveal that the book is called, because it is important. But this principal character is kind of the main character in the side story, or the more hidden story, and whom is talked about in the note page that I read outside. We can head in the main office. If you head over here, you can see that was the receptionist's office. There's some stuff here. Computer. Faculty, 2 p.m. There's a lot of these scattered around. These are sticky notes. They are really just hinting at the principal's kind of obsessive nature of wanting to make sure things are in order, even though the man himself is not very in order. Yeah. This is a key that is a side thing that you could get. It's a janitor's key. It unlocks the janitor's closet, which unlocks more information. It's a bit off of the main route, but if you are a astute individual, you can definitely find it. But yeah. Then we have the principal's office, which gives some information. We have the last 3 quotes here, which I will read later, but yeah. This is the same book, obviously, because it's the same green, but then we have another Faculty 2 p.m. reminding of something happening in the faculty room, which I will get to. And then we have this sticky note that says PWDJRC. Now, this is supposed to hint at a connection that will be seen later on, and now, if that makes sense. Like the connection of who the principal is, like his name. Um, because whenever, like, if you want to remember your password, PWD just means password. It's not like a secret code. But JRC, those are initials. And if your password is your initials, then I think you have something kind of wrong with you. But obviously the principal, you know, did that, so he's kind of, something's not right with him. But yeah, not like a super deep code or whatever. It's just yeah. Anyways, I forgot to So this dialogue here, is kind of a random reference, but the Mr. Hippo like monologues in UCN Ultimate Custom Night. I don't know why. I thought. See, it's another FNAF. If that was unintentional, okay, that was so unintentional. I just thought it was funny to have this random character have a super long dialogue, so I did that. And yeah, but there's some useful information, kind of how like the Mr. Hippo ones have the useful information of the lore, so whatever. If you try to go up one of these stairways, it says this line of dialogue. Just to, say, there is a actual route to be had and to be done. It's the cafeteria, pretty small. There's also a stage here. Yeah, again, this was supposed to kind of feel like a cafeteria that you would actually see in like elementary school or whatever. This is supposed to take place in high school, but yeah, it's supposed to at least. But yeah, let's walk back. Let's walk back to the math class. Here we are. Obviously we're late. These animations that you'll see, they're all done by Cletus. They're all made with morphers and constraints. They are really impressive, insanely made, or insanely well made. I don't know how he made them, but they're really awesome. Every single one of these guys are interactable. They're also recognizable. I'll tell who they are, but yeah. This is the guy from the bathroom. Well, from specifically the male bathroom. If you spawned in there, you can see him walking out, like washing his hands and stuff. Yeah. This is Assad saying his catchphrase, "Law what?" And if you talk to him, it just says "Law what" again. Yeah. This is Corb saying "Free Corb." This is this didn't age that well now because he is free. He's been free for a while now, but we kept it in the Steeple because we thought it was funnier to have him keep writing "Free Corp" even though he's already free. But yeah. This is Mega Kirby. :3. This is Azza. He's sleeping. This is Jackified. I remember early on, Jackified, he wanted him to be hanging in the Steeple, like just straight up hanging. Obviously, you can't do that because of Roblox, but there was a secret in a janitor's closet where it was a ghost with a rope next to it, saying even if I wanted to, I would just phase right through. That was supposed to be that kind of reference there. And yeah, and the ghost would say that, but obviously, I mean, it probably would have been okay, but I don't know. So I added that dialogue just to make sure that he got his wish. This is Moo Moo Manager. Some of you may know them. I don't really know. They're kind of popular in the Ty's Crazy Towers community. So yeah. This is Guy You Can Fly. He's playing Run 3. Yeah. This is Zach. Oh, that was a lag spike. Goddamn. This is Zach. He's listening to whatever this is. Anyways, I had the idea that I wanted him to be listening to music. Um, so I asked him what his least favorite music genre is, and he said country. So I picked a country song. This isn't in the game because I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I like this guy. I think he's kind of funny. This is my friend. His name is well, actually he goes by a lot of names, but Roman, Royfer, Ermlo. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, this is the only one that people probably wouldn't recognize because he's more of a personal, not personal friend, but you know, not super well known in the Ito community. And then this is Free the Polar Bear. He just says his catchphrase, hello. And this is Craxel. This is my favorite dialogue that I made. I don't know, it's just kind of funny. It's so, like, it's just, yeah, it's just kind of absurd. There's a couple absurd moments that happen in this Steeple that are just kind of like, oh, okay, kind of catch you off guard. That's one of them. And he's also eating a full course meal. Like, okay, got steak, potatoes, carrots, and green beans, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah, and you can talk to Cletus, which obviously he's the math teacher. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, if you couldn't tell already, I was the receptionist too. But yeah, sit down, please. Shall we do that? If you try to go to any of these other chairs, because we had to pick one chair because it just wouldn't have worked if there was multiple chairs that you can sit in. To explain why these chairs are empty, it's just, I don't know, people being absent or not enough students for the class, you know, whatever. But yeah, I think I'd rather sit in the back. Okay, so then that brings you to the back. Not sitting here. Why sit in the corner? Process of elimination. Wow, who else? What other chair would there be? Anyways, then we have this cutscene, which is just normal school stuff, you know. There's a test, you know, and don't sleep in my class, because if you sleep in my class, then you're gonna miss out on the test, and you know that's bad. We also have him throwing the paper there. And then you fall asleep, and then that happens. And then the music comes in. Let me turn up the volume a little bit. I think that's good. Yeah, so that happens. Obviously something bad happened, right? Giant crash happens. Let me turn it down a little bit, actually. Giant crash happens. Actually, no, let me do... Nah, I'll do 3, okay. Anyway, sorry, I'm indecisive. Okay. So you see all of them are just kind of, you know, messed up. All the chairs are messed up. Some of their belongings are gone and whatever else. Yeah, this is supposed to kind of be where that liminal feeling comes from. This ambient music with this really, like, dim gray lighting, you know, a complete contrast from what it was before. Very warm lighting to this super dim, depressing lighting. That was very intentional. That's what I wanted it to sound like. But yeah. One small little detail is this. I just kind of like the idea of whatever, you know, whoever did this, they went out of their way to stack these tables and chairs so that it would look like this. Because the way this was done, just so like I can have like a better idea, because I made all of these like chairs and tables messed up, was I made it outside and then we brought it in, because it was push box activated, it would have been way more difficult to you know, make all of this. So yeah. the way the music works is it's all music zone editor stuff. There's essentially 3 music zones throughout the entire thing. At first it's silence, and they're all playing at once, except for the last one. That one comes in not playing at once, if that makes sense. So that's the reason why this song right now playing would start at different times depending on how fast you went through the intro, essentially. So yeah, that's how that works. It's pretty cool. Also, the song is from Dream Game or Frozen Soul. It's the overworld theme, I guess you can call it, from Fissure Outpost, the dream there. But yeah. Anyways, let's walk outside. There's a lot of things that we did to make this kind of feel off. There's a lot of weird anomalies. I guess you could consider the door sound activating when you walk through the door, not actually touching the door, would be kind of one of these weird anomalies. But yeah, this is where the gameplay spawns in. All this stuff, this push box activated. I don't exactly know how it works because Cletus obviously did most of it, but it's rough. Also, these first 2 sections are the only bits of gameplay that Cletus made, which I think is kind of funny. But yeah. Anyways, this is a note. I saw some comment saying that there's nothing indicating that these are flip blocks when they obviously completely missed this note. It's not like the idea was that it wasn't supposed to like hint at like information. I don't know. It's more so like things that you would find out yourself, right? So that people's playthrough would be different than other people's. So if you, it's very obvious, right? If you see a note with like scribbled stuff on it, I feel like you would be inclined to, simple game design, like something that Valve would do, where if you see something interesting or out of the, whatever norm, you would be inclined to explore and see what it is. And that's where that kind of came from. And it's kind of like a fourth wall breaking moment, just saying like press flip to flip through the seats. But yeah, I've seen people confuse the hitbox for the seat to be the seat itself. It is not. It's actually the outline part. So you'd have to touch the seat part of the seat, not like the head part of the seat. So yeah. Also, these void parts that they're supposed to be void, like cracks of the ground, made by whoever did this. That's what they're supposed to be. I've heard people say it's like a goop. It's not. it's just void. Like it's supposed to be like the ground crackling underneath and just revealing this dark void, which again kind of goes into that absurdity of just like in like that kind of surrealness of how how is there just nothing but void underneath this school. So obviously that hints at this reality that we woke up in is not the real reality that we were in during the daytime. So yeah, but if you fall into it, is that was a really cool little animation that Cletus made. It literally just pushes you through the ground in like this cool little morpher animation place. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of bugs that happen with it too. This was rough. But if you go over here, you can see the stairway is completely destroyed. So obviously you don't go over there. Leave this bit. I've seen people like compare the gameplay to PA gameplay, Paradise Atoll. I don't see it at all. Like I don't know. I guess it's somewhat jank, and obviously the low jump is something to get used to. People are definitely not used to it. I've obviously gotten used to because I've played through this gameplay so much because of testing purposes, but I don't know. I made sure that the gameplay wasn't super duper like complex. It was just, like most of it is pretty simple. Like obviously, what else would you do here other than walk on the truss? Ish, kind of. And then you walk down on this part because you hit your head, and then yeah. Like, basic sight reading stuff. I don't know. At least to me, it feels like basic sight reading stuff. Right, where like you check if you would hit your head, and if you don't, then you can jump. But if you do, then I don't know, look for some way that you don't hit your head. But yeah, as you can see, the roof caved in. The book is still there though, which could, you know, be a symbolism of something. I don't know. That is talking about this wall. This is a, I guess, mechanic. I guess it's more so just like the ways to stretch out the runtime. Yeah, and or kind of like forcefully make you explore the school more. If you go the other way, if you ignore what that dialogue said, you can go over here and see the ghost over here. Technically, there's 6 ghosts, because there's the 5 from the classrooms and this one that is kind of like the leader. It's not really the leader, but you know, yeah. And then you go into the main office again. If you already got there's the key. If you already got it, obviously it's not there, but yeah. This is to hint that there is something definitely in here. And wow, look at that, a button spawn. Wow. Actually, you know what? How about I don't go through the quote walls? I feel like that would take a bit too long. But maybe, I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Anyways. Again, more stairs being messed up. Go over here. There isn't really anything over here. There was a thing that I was going to do. I was going to add a bunch of different, like, royalty-free paintings throughout, just to kind of create more of a eerie atmosphere. I removed them because I thought it was kind of dumb. But yeah, there's going to be more paintings with their own descriptions and whatnot. Yeah. And possibly things that you can interpret there and whatever. Yeah. Didn't add them. Whatever. It's fine. I do this gameplay. I forgot about that. There's I thought it was funny. Because my house Sawad, if you know what that is, there's a Discord sound effect that plays like 10 minutes in, I think. And I wanted to add that because I thought it was funny, so I did. And there's a Discord sound effect that plays, or Discord ping sound effect that plays. Yeah, I don't know, it's really stupid. Very few people have actually like talked about it. I've seen, I think, one person mentioned it, but that's really it. I don't know, weird. I wonder if I forgot anyone yet. I haven't seen anyone get fooled by it. I don't know. And this line of dialogue is just to hint that you have more options than just what is presented in front of you. Like, you could go up to the 3rd floor, or you could go to the history classroom. I didn't say this before, but I probably should have, but you can do this in any order that you want. I'm getting messaged. You can do this in any order that you want. And yeah, there's no like real order that you can do this in. Again, if you have the if you saw the janitor's key, like I said, it would be useful. I think I said that, I don't know. But here's the janitor's closet over here on floor 2. It's definitely possible to miss, but I keep being messaged, go away. Let me record this. Okay, anyways. So if you have the key, right, you could go in. If you don't have the key, then you can. The way it works essentially is that there's a button activated platform here in front of this that would stop the door from opening. If you get the key, then it would activate a button that would remove the button platform, and then you would be able to walk through. Yeah. This was where the Jacobite ghost, like I talked about earlier, would be. Obviously it's gone now, but yeah. And there's also these eyeballs, just a hint at, you know, the being that caused all of this. I keep getting messaged, oh my god. Anyways. yeah, there's some lore bits here. There's a key up here. It doesn't say what it's for, but this key is for the faculty office, which I will get to later. I think it's on the 4th floor. Yeah, it's on the 4th floor. And we have this newspaper here, which gives some more insight on the principal. It's not hinted at in this newspaper that it is the principal, but I will say now it is the principal. I'll let this play out. Obviously, this date is important. If you remember the note from before, the book page, I mean, saying that the things that I've done are irreparable, or irreparable. I don't know how to pronounce that word. And ever since the incident that I did in 2020, ever since the incident in 2012, I have made not one mistake. That is referencing this incident. It is revealed that the principal may or may not have done some not so great things, for a reason, of course. Obviously there has to be a reason for it, but that will be shown later. But for the purpose of, showing everything, I'm just going to do it in order. But yeah, just letting you know that you don't have to go in order if you don't want to. Some history things. Yeah. This is about the 100 Years' War. There's another sticky note. Globe spinning. This thing, I remember making. I don't know why I made this, but then Cletus told me to put it in the steeple, so I did. I don't know. I don't know why I made it. I genuinely don't remember. But yeah, this is the first main puzzle. There are sections, a majority of the puzzles in the steeple are puzzles within puzzles. So this one is kind of like a transition into a bigger puzzle. So it's very simple. Just push the stack of papers to this green spot right here. You do that, and then this animation plays. It's a really cool animation. Forgot how loud that is. So this is I guess just war. I don't know, war. Again, very simple. You see the X here. You gotta push this guy to these 3 black spots. Just finding the right cycle. Oops. Can't do it. Oh my god. This is embarrassing. Do that. Oh my god, that was close. Do that. Oh my god, that was so close. Okay. There we go. Okay. There we go. Then we have these ghosts. These are the ghosts that you're saving. They kind of say, they give you some more information. There's still 4 more they have to go through or save. It tells you that. Well, it hints at something being called it, whatever it is, which will be revealed later. Whatever it is, obviously, is causing these things to happen. But yeah. Then you go up here. Also, something I forgot to talk about. Every single time you go up 1 floor, a silent and invisible button activates, changing some of the gameplay. This is done for 2 reasons. 1, to make it so that you can backtrack, and 2, just to create a sort of uncanny atmosphere of like, that wasn't there before, something like that, right? Because like this wasn't there before, that wasn't there before, all this stuff wasn't here before, and it's just to create this kind of uncanny atmosphere of like something's not right here. Obviously, we're not in the real world, because why would this stuff just kind of appear out of thin air, So yeah, just the little hints. I will go the real way when I go once I go over here. This is another book page, and we get the first appearance of the book, the principal's book. J. Rich Cooler. Now, if you recognize that acronym from the password sticky note thing, JRC, J. Rich Cooler. That's how you would connect the two. I'm not sure if anyone had done that yet, but I mean, yeah, the connection's there. Very simple. Yeah. The book being titled "Never Travel Alone in the Dark." That was intentional to, sound really cliche and kind of boring, which fits into the story more, which you will see later. This is another book page that I will let it read out. I think this is the second one. Maybe. One thing I want to clarify is that these book pages are not from the from the principal's book. They're something entirely different. Again, the appearance of it. We don't know what it is. It's just it for now. Yeah, so essentially these book pages are not part of the principal's book. I should have probably made that a bit more obvious, but yeah, it's just yeah. I'll explain it better later, hopefully, I think. But essentially what that book page was talking about was, whoever the main character is, which is presumably the principal, he was sitting in his home one day, and something, supernatural happened, and some figure appeared, and we will see later what that figure did, or said. Oh, I forgot to read this one. Also, there's checkpoints every couple floors. If you fell on floor 2, it sends you back to floor 1, and right here there's a checkpoint. I don't really know exactly how it works, but there is a checkpoint system, essentially. I think it's just a teleport destination being moved. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. This is like another fourth shadow. Fourth shadow. What am I saying? Fourth wall breaking thing. Just say hey, be aware of your surroundings. The gameplay isn't super, friendly towards you, I guess. Look around, something like that. Be aware, essentially. There we go. That button activated this wall over here. Well, there was a wall here. I didn't show it, but yeah. There's a short outside. Falling here, there's a black void there. And then, uh-oh. That's just to keep you on your toes. I've seen people get startled by that. It's kind of funny. The turrets actually do a lot of damage. It's yeah, they do a lot of damage. This is supposed to be the computer lab, as you can see right there. Posters, computers. This is kind of funny. I don't know. This is the brown note, and if you can recognize because of RVN. That's how I always recognize it. The link, at least, whenever Cletus would post it. This is the origin of Stungle. If you don't know what Stungle is, it is the mechanism that makes this whole sequence work. Yeah. Read this note. And buttons will appear soon. God, that is loud. Okay. This is a memory puzzle. I actually completely forgot what the... Okay, that's sad. I'll do it again. Oh, wow. All across the bottom part. Interesting. Essentially, this is entirely randomized. It's, yeah. It's really complex. I could show you it after I do this. Okay, it's down here. It's Stungle. Yeah. It's obviously dark, so you can't really see it, but there's just a lot of stuff going on down here. It's rough, but it works. Oh, that was so stupid. But that's what happens if you get it wrong, whatever. Wait, I didn't see what that was. No, I'm failing my own... Well, I didn't make this, but my own steeple. Okay. There. 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 Okay, this is... Sometimes the combinations are a bit easy, sometimes they're a bit harder. Okay. Easy. And now we have pawn. The buttons are supposed to disappear after you beat that. They don't. That's fixed in the actual game. But yeah. Now, if you like are entirely AFK for this, that's not okay. If you're entirely AFK for this, eventually you'll just lose because whatever reason. If you want a cheat sheet, just like move as soon as it's about to approach you. The ball, I mean, like right there, because then the AI or bot thing, it's just constraints. That's all it is. It's constraints, but yeah. Hinting at the wall, losing that there's 3 others. Yeah, it's all constraints. That's how the bot is made. It's just constraints. But it's not perfect though. It's not perfect. But like I said, if you press that one input at that one time, then it's like a guaranteed win. But yeah. And then we can go back over here. Resets that one. Wait for this to move by, and then that was stupid. Hang on. Screw this gameplay. There we go. Okay. Going over here, there isn't anything. I think, yeah. Like I said with the paintings before, I was gonna add paintings here, but obviously I did not do that. Now time for the science lab. Again, hinting at you don't have to do everything in order. You're given 2 options here: either the library or the science lab. I will do the library first because it's shorter, so might as well. Whoa! Wow, the door shut. Oh no! I forget why we made the door shut, but I don't know. It's kind of cool. Also, this again hinting at something bigger. Something more supernatural happening here. Yeah. There's also one of those follow eyes because it's like kind of indented into the window there, so it looks like it's following you. It's quite eerie. It's supposed to make it just feel kind of eerie, whatever. Speaking of eerie, whoa, another book page. This is the direct sequel to the last one that we read, aka the 3rd one. Foreshadowing. Yeah, this one kind of has a lot of information saying that the deal, well, the outcome of the deal, if the man, that being the principal, helped this being, they would get fame and fortune. And for this character of the principal, it makes sense. He is kind of obsessed with himself. He's obsessive. He is not perfect. Obviously, he isn't a bad person. Well, that's debatable after the stuff he did. But, you know, that's really just what he wants. But he's too harsh on himself to really, you know, get better and whatever. Any kind of negative attention from his work, his, you know, books, affect him deeply. So yeah, let's do this game. But also, another book over here. It's the same one. I'm not gonna read it because it's the same one. It's just to hint at the idea that he's kind of a, you know, a little bit of a narcissist. You know, leaving his stuff all around. You know, his books. There we go. Also, Goose reference. Anyways, this is a really cool animation. And then here you draw a key. Wow. This is done using trails, which are really, really cool. It looks better at high graphics, but I am not using that right now. But yeah, I mean, the effect is really well done. Oops. And if you fail, obviously you just restart it. So essentially, the actual like pen has to hit certain buttons around the key, and if it hits those buttons, then it's correct. And if it goes too far out, then obviously it, you know, goes away. But yeah, the trail is just there for visual aesthetic. And then it crashes through the glass. And then we freed another ghost, yay! 2 others. Okay, so yeah, that's another subtle comedy bit. You know, why are we making a key when it's a glass door? Yeah, so it just crashes through the thing. Also, another eyeball. Yeah, there's a few of them. There's actually one really secret one. I don't remember where it is, but it's in like a completely inaccessible area that you can only access through a glitch. That I thought would be funny to add. I think it's in like one of these like crevices, like, you know, there's like this little gap here. I think it's one of those in some floor. I don't really know. Science lab time. So this also has 2 parts. This is obviously the most complex puzzle, but both of these are pretty complex. There's a lot of just general, like, you know, sight reading things, just picking up on whatever details that tells you. You know, taking in the entire puzzle, going, okay, this is how this works. This is how that works. It bounces. This is how this works. Raises up this thing. And yeah. I wait for that to go down. I'm not entirely too sure how this laser was made. I know it's all push boxes, but no, wait, actually, I think it is just all push boxes, and that's a trail. Pretty sure that's just like a trail. Yeah, pretty sure. Also another one of these. The solution for this is pretty easy. You just have to do this one first, and then do this, and then, oops, wait, I did it wrong. Hang on. Let's wait for this to end. Okay, now we do this, and then we do this, and then we push this back, and then, yeah. Okay, and we have this one, which is easily the most complex puzzle in the entire Steeple. I kind of wish it was longer, but yeah. Essentially, if you read through this, it says if a vapor escapes. Well, these. My phone fell. Sorry if that was loud. These 2 lines are not important. It's really just these 3 that are important. In this one too. Yeah. If vapor escapes from the condenser, decrease the burner heat. That's this one. If the solution turns gray, add more reactant. That's this one. Oh wait, this one. I mean, if the reaction stops, carefully add more catalyst. That's this one. And do not add anything to the solution if it is not needed. Because if you do that, then yeah, that happens. That happens. It explodes. You have like infinite attempts, obviously, because it takes some patience. It takes some, you know, observant. Yeah, you just kind of have to observe this. Yeah. So this is the reaction, obviously. That's the sound of it. You know. Yeah, escaping from the condenser. It's doing it again. It's also all randomized, so that's pretty cool. And then it stopped, so you had more catalyst, and there you go. Turns green. Again, another mention of the hall. Just one other. Yeah, it's all randomized. So you could get all three of the same. It's definitely possible. But yeah, really cool puzzle. A lot of people have trouble with it. I think, personally, they're stupid and dumb. Then we have another one of these, just to give you some, you know, details on this gameplay section, where you can't flip on these, and outline parts are safe from the seat. This gameplay idea really was just to create more creative bits with the seats, because I thought that they were kind of underutilized. So yeah, but first you have to go over here. This routing bit is kind of confusing. I kind of wish I made it better, but whatever. It's definitely possible to figure out, obviously, through process of elimination. So you do that one. Wait for this to go by. You're safe here. Actually, no, I'll wait for that. Yeah. And then you jump up here, get this button. Okay. Wait for that. And then you can go over here, and then there's another one. You're safe on this truss, and then you can go over here. You're safe here. Jump here. It's pretty simple. I've seen people like freaking what are they? Ledge grab. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. They ledge grab here. You don't have to. Yes, you hit your head, but you also can make the jump. I don't know why people do that. It's really weird. But yeah, you don't have to backtrack if you don't want. You can just do this, and then that unlocks this path. Some more gameplay, and then you can go over this way. This is now where the faculty office is. If you've got the key in the janitor's closet, then you have access to this one. This has some really good information. It also has this thing. Don't forget, obviously, this is just the faculty office. There's sticky notes saying 2 p.m. That is supposed to hint at this, obviously. Yeah, it's obviously what you would expect. It's definitely not a faculty office. It is very clearly not a faculty office. That is intentional. And yeah, it's not supposed to look like a faculty office. It's supposed to kind of, you know, feel disconnected from everything else, or what a faculty office would actually look like. So yeah, we're given 2 things here. Another newspaper. A hint at that this is the principal, obviously. This is kind of a useless detail, but it's just to hint at more that this is probably the principal, and he has access to these things. So this is after the incident, because obviously sometime during this point, In 2012, the school closed down. Sometime after then, and before this point, the school opened up back again. But this case is still ongoing, obviously, because then this newspaper wouldn't have been made. This case is still ongoing. Is it smart for the school to be open after disappearance of kids? Well, I mean, kids have to get education, so I don't know. You can make that decision on your own, I guess. But yeah, and then we have another one. This is not a book page or a newspaper. It is a review, actually, of the principal's book, and this is hinting at the real motive behind his kind of obsessive, narcissistic behavior. It's supposed to be like intentionally a poorly written review, but also really cruel and just generally, really, really mean, really like, not great. Really, not like no like constructive criticism. Especially this line right here, saying like I would, stop what you're doing and do something completely different. And this was 2010, obviously. This happened before the incident, 2012. And that's 2 whole years of how, what am I trying to say? Oh my god, it keeps happening. Of who knows how many more negative reviews. This is just one example. So, yeah. Oh, also, I completely walked past this, but if you see me talking about the dark room or the void room in Solid, this is it. I thought it'd be funny if I just added a room that's just completely pitch black. Yeah, there's no reason for it. It's just to make you feel off. Like why is it there? There's no real reason for it. Anyways. Up to the 5th floor, and we're not going to go the real way right now to the music classroom. We're going to go over here because there is the last book page of our the last piece of the puzzle, I guess you could say. Nice view of the library here, very nice. And then we have the last book page. Oh yeah, this is the first one. Reference of the negative reviews, plural, saying that there's more. Now this part may be confusing. I will get into why it says that instead. Well, this part kind of explains it, essentially. So basically, this is the principal not entirely writing about himself. It's kind of confusing. Not even my brain can. Essentially, he is talking about himself here, but he's not using writing, he's using film instead, right? He's using writing, he's using film instead of writing to tell his story. Because this is essentially it's from a book. It's from a book. It's hinted at that he is writing in his books whenever he's in his office from the receptionist during the daytime. This is what he is writing. He's writing these book pages of this new book of this character who is going through something, and pretty much the exact same stuff. Just like he's just putting it into words, but not directly about himself. If that makes sense, right? So he is making up this character that is a self-insert of himself into this book, who is doing the exact thing that he is doing. Because he needs some sort of outlet to explain what the hell is even happening and how these turn of events, occurred in the first place. That was the main idea. I kind of wish that I explored this more, but I feel like it also doesn't need to be explored more, But that kind of explains his story and his motive, of why he did this. He did it for fame and fortune. He did it because of the negative reviews, right? Just this kind of, ego that he built up for himself. And he didn't really know how to talk about it, so he wrote it into a book, essentially. And those are the book pages scattered throughout. It definitely could have been better written, I guess. Most of it I made, in 2023. I'm definitely, I would say, a better writer now. Actually, wait a minute. I just realized, isn't it in here? It's not in here. Damn, I thought the eyeball was in here. I guess not, whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely like a better writer now, I would say. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I'm a better writer now. But yeah, let's go to the music classroom. There is one more line of dialogue that I would point out that's a bit more, hinting. Oops. Oh, I forgot that's empty back here, whatever. That's a bit more hinting at, the involvement, I guess you could say, of the monster, or it, and, the principal. Wait, no, not the monster, the ghosts, yes, of course. Anyways. Then we have the music room. Again, a puzzle in a puzzle. Also, that bass line is the national anthem by the Radiohead, if you recognize that. Oh man. Again, this is another puzzle inside of a puzzle. Where you have to do this part. You have to do that part again. I've heard people complain about this part. It's really, really not that hard. I don't know. There we go. I'm pretty sure that song is from some album that Cletus likes, I think. I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah. So we both kind of had, songs that we like in this room, so that's pretty cool. But now you are forced to backtrack here. Because if you fall, you just get sent back over there. Oops. And then you go over here, and you have this gameplay that spawned in, so you can do it backwards, obviously. And then you go over here. Now it tells you that you need to go to the hall. The reason why it's called Two Things, the hall or in the cafeteria, is because Cletus is British, and I'm obviously not British. So we couldn't decide on what to call it, so we were just like, okay, let's just name it both. So yeah, also the hall is a cooler name than the cafe, so yeah. But anyways, this starts the final cutscene, which has some important lines of dialogue, and explains some things, so I will, yeah, get into that. There they all are. Your scarlet shoulders may be visible, but your heart still beats. And then saying, and you. Now, those first few lines are talking to the principal, and when it says, and you, it's talking to the player. And it says, the others failed, you succeeded. Those are important lines. And then yeah, there's the monster. And the forest. Oh, I gotta do the timing of that got messed up somehow, but whatever. And you have your heartbeat kind of depleting your health, but essentially, we're leading up to a boss fight right now. But now that I'm, not getting damage, I can talk about those lines. So, like I said, the first few lines are talking to the principal directly, saying your scarlet shoulders are visible, but your heart still beats. Is that what it said? I think so. Now, the line "your scarlet shoulders" is one of the only really interpretive lines that I wrote in this Steeple. I remember it was a misheard lyric from a song of Scarlet Shoulders, and I thought it sounded cool. It wasn't the actual lyric of the song, but I kept thinking that it was, even though it's not, and I just liked how it sounded. And I think I think there is an interpretation to be made of what that means. You know how people say there's blood on your hands, scarlet being the color of blood. Why shoulders? I don't know. But yeah, and then when it transitions to say "and you, chosen from the depths of hell," or whatever it said, I don't know, chosen, hinting at that you were chosen specifically. There is definitely something to be interpreted there, or it's left blank on purpose to kind of make you wonder why were you chosen. The real story, which I kind of wish I explained more, is that obviously we are in some kind of supernatural purgatory state, and these ghosts have been trapped here for a while. Obviously, this takes place in a more modern time. It's supposed to hint at that these ghosts have been trying for a while to be freed, and you're the one who did it. You're the one who freed them. You're the only one who succeeded, as they said that you're the only one who succeeded in freeing them. I wish I explored that more or explained it better, but yeah, it's definitely possible to come to that conclusion with enough thinking. But I'm just saying it here now so that people, I don't know, if people were wondering. I don't know. Anyways, walk over here. There's a boss fight. The giant star. It's supposed to be resembling heaven. But yeah, we're brought in. These pillars rise up. The brown note is playing, by the way, in the background. It's too quiet to hear, but it is playing. Anyways, then we have this boss fight. It's basically a series of these absurd supernatural events that can't really be explained. They're all from the doings of the being, the serpent that you saw. The walls fall down. It's all done by the being, the serpent. It can't really describe what it is, other than its physical form, which is a serpent. But interpretively, there could be more forms. I don't really know. There could be, if you want to interpret it like that. I've heard a complaint where people wanted to see more of this being. It was hyped up, and then you're shown a bit of it, and then it goes away. I don't necessarily think that. I think the one vision of the being is just show its true form to the player, and then we're given this kind of surreal series of events of it showing the player what it can do and what it can be and why it's not a force to be messed with, right? So turning itself to a spider, these walking creatures, this weird goop void, I guess. Um, this thing, you know, everything really. But this is just credits. I should have showed it, but yeah, this is just credits saying who did what, engineering, story. This is special thanks, playtesters and fellow voters. And then you for playing. Wow, how wholesome. Then, uh-oh, I'm gonna die. Oh no. Yeah, that's loud. Anyways, yeah. The main idea for this kind of staircase, just like crashing through, was that like the music would cut off and it would just be this silence of the whirring of the mechanics of the staircase, and then, you know, the only real way is up, right? This moment is supposed to reference the player moving on to the afterlife, afterlife detention, to the afterlife. Now, there isn't really a conclusion for the principal, which I kind of wish I did, like add some kind of like secret ending. I kind of wish I made it like a secret ending. It's like saying some kind of whatever, but I think it's interesting enough so that you could interpret it, you know, how it could possibly end. You know, like, obviously, I feel like it's a bit better even that the entity still exists. It's still in this school. The beings, the ghosts, I mean, of those kids a while ago are free now. But the cycle repeats itself, and who knows, it might repeat again. Maybe the entity will find another victim, a torn character, a torn victim to manipulate and, you know, make them into its pawn. But yeah, before I go into that, I will read the quote walls. So it's kind of like a walk around the school. Obviously, I can't really walk into, you know, but this is a poem that I found. I don't remember how I found it, but I thought it would be okay. I thought it would. I thought it kind of sounded like it could fit into the story somewhat. Because that's how poems are supposed to be interpreted. You know, you can interpret them in however ways you want. So yeah. So this is the first passage. It reads, "Strong Son of God, immortal love, whom we that have not seen thy face, by faith and faith alone, embrace, believing where we cannot prove." Second one, 2. Thine are these orbs of light and shade. Thou mattest life in man and brute. Thou mattest death, and lo, thy foot, I don't know, is on the skull which thou hast made. Third one is over here. That is very loud. Third is, thou wilt not leave us in the dust. Thou maddest man, he knows not why. He thinks he was not made to die, and thou hast made him, thou art just. I think that these lines are definitely interpretive. You know, you can definitely fit that into the story. Fourth one. Thou seemest human and divine, the highest, holiest manhood thou. Our wills are ours, we know not how. Our wills are our wills are ours to make them thine. That's like what are those things called? Tongue twister, yeah. 5. Our little systems have their day, they have their day and cease to be. They are but broken lights of thee, and thou, O Lord, art more than they. 6. We have but faith we cannot know, for knowledge is of things we see, and yet we trust it comes from thee, a beam in darkness, let it grow. And then 8, no wait, this is 7. Let knowledge grow from more to more, but more reverence in us dwell. That mind and soul, according well, may make music, may make one music as before. 8, it's right here. But vaster, we are fools and slight. We mock thee when we do not fear, but help thy foolish ones to bear. Help they, vain worlds, to bear thy light, thy light. And then the last 3 are in the principal's office. This is very intentional because I feel like these are the most interpretive ones to fit into the story, or more so relate to the principal itself. That being 9 right here. Forgive what seemed my sin in me, what seemed my worth since I began. For merit lies from man to man, and not from man, O Lord, to thee. 10. Forgive my grief for one removed, thy creature whom I found so fair. I trust he lives in thee, and there I found him worthier to be loved. 11. Forgive these wild and wandering cries, confusions of a wasted youth. Forgive them where they fail in truth, and thy wisdom make me wise. These in specific, I think, really hit hard if you know the story. These, like the fact that the principal specifically put them into this, into his office, it really makes you kind of feel for him. He knows he's doing wrong, but like he just kind of can't help himself, can't help himself. He's just so enthralled of the idea of, his dream, in, possibly justifying it. I don't know if you want to interpret it like that, I don't know. But yeah, those are the quote walls. But let's go back over here and go up the stairway. And very slow stairway, but then it fades to white, plays the sound over and over. This is where the wind pad would beat, obviously, but yeah. Let me silence that. But yeah, that's the steeple. I hope that hopefully that answered lore questions, maybe, or just give more insight on stuff. But yeah, that's really it. Yeah.